Hello students, welcome to Medicourse. Today we are going to discuss digestion and absorption chapter. The first part is carbohydrate. Here we are going to see detailed information of each and every organ in which carbohydrate can be digested. So let's begin the class. Before we move into the digestion of carbohydrate, we should know what type of carbohydrate is actually we eat. So it is nothing but the starch. We should also know that what type of starches are available. That means the structure of starch we should know. Starch is in the form of amylose or amylopectin. So these are the two forms of starch. If we see amylose, then we can consider that this as a alpha glucose. Here also I am considering this structure as alpha glucose. So like that we have to draw multiple numbers of alpha glucose and we need to join all the alpha glucose with the help of the bond which is present between the two is known as alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond. Next one, the amylopectin. So if we see the structure of amylopectin, the similar structure we need to draw and we need to consider this structure as the alpha glucose molecule. So similarly, we have to draw multiple numbers of alpha glucose and then again we have to join this with the alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond. But like that, if we draw layer by layer, then we have to join this structure with the above structure. You can see here, this is position number 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, here somewhere it is 6. So with this carbon 1, we have to join the glucose structure like this at the 6th position. So the bond which is present between these two is nothing but alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond. That means here I am clear that in case of amylopectin, two bonds are available. The branch structure is actually forming by alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond, whereas the linear structure is formed by the alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond. So the two bonds is present in the amylopectin structure, whereas only one bond is present in case of amylose structure. So if this concept is clear, then it becomes very easier for us to understand the digestion process. So if we start with the mouth part, the common enzyme which is present is known as ptyalin. Ptyalin is also known as salivary amylase, which is nothing but alpha amylase. The pH concentration of salivary amylase is 6.8. That is, it is slightly acidic. Therefore, in this pH concentration, it is much more easier to digest or to break alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond of starch molecule. So when a person is chewing their food and if carbohydrate is present in that food, then the bond which is alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond, those bonds are used to break. Therefore, we will get some glucose molecule. Not all the chain will break. So some of the glucose unit only we are going to get, but maximum of them, let me draw the glucose molecule in this format. So maximum of them are actually branched or they are forming the linear chain of glucose. So if it is branched, then this is known as amylopectin, and if it is linear, then this is known as amylose. So what we can write for mouth, that is, in presence of alpha amylase enzyme, only alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond of amylose and amylopectin can be digested. I hope this part is clear for everyone. Now let's see, down the mouth part, one J-shaped structure is present and that J-shaped structure is nothing but the stomach. So here the undigested part of starch molecule enter into the stomach, which are not digested because the pH concentration of stomach is 1.8, which is highly acidic in nature as it has HCl concentration. Please remember, in acidic concentration, starch unable to digest. That means we can't break alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond, neither we can't break alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond. So both of the bonds, alpha 1,4 and alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond, are unable to digest in this particular region. So in the stomach area, there is no digestion for starch. Now let's see the U-shaped curve structure, and this is known as duodenum. So in this duodenum, we know there is an opening, and this opening is known as sphincter of Oddi, and which is actually linked with one leaf-like structure like this, and this leaf-like structure has multiple branches like this. At the tip of the branches, they have some convoluted cells in this format, and if we check one of the convoluted part under the magnifying view, this convoluted region is actually looks something like this. This convoluted part is known as acinar cell of pancreas. The acinar cell of pancreas is responsible to release again pancreatic amylase, which is similar to like that of alpha amylase. Again, we know alpha amylase can break the bond, which is alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond. Therefore, in the duodenum area, if undigested carbohydrate molecule or starch molecules are present, it can break only the 1,4 glycosidic bond. So in this area, now we have some of the alpha glucose which are free, but most of them are actually in the branched form, that is alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond is present, and some are in the linear form, that is still alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond is present. That means in duodenum region, there is not complete digestion or incomplete digestion of starch takes place. Now let's see what happened to the small intestine. The cells of intestine is known as enterocytes. In this area, we can see where there is brush border epithelium. There are some of the region where we can see different kinds of enzyme, such as here in the red color marking, I'm showing one enzyme, and that is known as maltase enzyme. Whereas with the help of the white color, I'm representing another important enzyme name, and this is known as sucrase or isomaltase enzyme. So here we can see in the lumen of small intestine, we have different structures of amylose or amylopectins are present. So they have both the bonds of alpha 1,4 as well as alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond. Similarly, small glucose molecules are also present. So if here we are considering one as a alpha glucose molecule, that means two glucose molecules together, it form maltose. This maltose can be digested by maltase enzyme, and which is the result of formation of individual glucose molecules. Similarly, if we see the sucrase or isomaltase enzyme, then we come to know that this is the only enzyme which can digest alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond along with alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond. So this is the one of the question pocket that often asks in exam, that is which enzyme is responsible to break alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond of starch. Answer is sucrase or isomaltase. Due to that, again they are going to break into small segments like this. It may be in the maltose form or it may be in the free glucose forms. But some of the chain is still remain as such. So those chains which are unbreakable or those chains which are not broken inside the intestinal area is known as resistant starch. Now, this is almost, we have completed the digestion of carbohydrate molecule in the small intestine. But as we have resistant starch, therefore, we have to go to the large intestine. So, in this figure, I have drawn only the schematic representation of that large intestine. So here we can see some of the pipes which is coming out from that particular zone is nothing but the small intestine, which is exactly connected with this particular area where it starts with the large intestine. So the food molecule which is coming out from the small intestine, it will enter into the large intestine, where these comes in contact with some of the bacteria present in this colon areas. So these bacteria are actually known as symbiotic bacteria. The most common symbiotic bacteria present inside the human intestine is nothing but the Escherichia coli or E. coli. So if we check one of the cell of this particular zone, we come to know that actually the smaller intestine cells are something like this, which is mainly for the absorption purpose. And if inside their colon, if we have resistant starch, so along with some bacteria, then those bacteria can digest this resistant starch and can convert them into some small fatty acid chain. This fatty acid chain again can be absorbed by large intestine, which is useful for the human being. Like this way, in the large intestine, the digestion of carbohydrate completes. So I hope you have noticed each and every part of digestion of carbohydrate molecule. Hope this video is useful for you. If you like the video, please subscribe and don't forget to press the like button. Thank you so much. You are free to ask your questions in the comment section below.